Yeah, good morning, everybody. My name is Brent Midwood. I'm a product manager with the Platform Management Business Unit. Work on Red Hat Satellite, Red Hat Insights, Red Hat Cloud Forms. Have with me today John Spinks, also from the Management Business Unit on the product marketing side. We're going to go over sort of a kind of a neat use case that we're enabling with Satellite 6.4 with Ansible and with Insights coming up here in the next few months or so. So this is some preview technology you're going to get to see. I'll sprinkle in a little bit of roadmap, that sort of stuff. So if you all have questions on the tech, John's going to actually do a live demo here on stage. We'll go through a little bit of roadmap type stuff, and we'll see where the questions go. So I guess first off, how many folks here are Red Hat Satellite customers? That's fantastic. Looks like the abstract was right. How many folks are actually on Satellite 6.3? Wow. Okay. Anybody that wants to get to 6.3, actually everybody should want to get to 6.3. Come see me after. We'll get you set up with 6.3. How many folks are Ansible, either Ansible Tower or Ansible users? Good. Awesome. What about Insights users? Just a couple. How many folks don't know what Insights is? Enough to talk about it. Perfect. Okay. So I'll give you the quick overview of all three products, and then we'll go from there. So Red Hat Satellite is our on-premise RHEL lifecycle management tool. So managing the RHEL boxes that you have in your environment for things like standard operating environment, configuration management, patching, provisioning, all the sort of stuff. Everybody raised their hand, or most folks raised their hand. I think you all know what Satellite is. Ansible is our automation provider. So there's Ansible Tower, which is our automation orchestration engine. And then there's the Ansible core/engine that provides the technology to do automated things on the systems that we're working with. So Red Hat Insights is our SaaS-based, so software as a service-based offering from Red Hat that allows you to do configuration assessment, proactive configuration assessment for your RHEL assets. So in other words, you can send us anonymized data about your RHEL systems, and we will run those. We will run that data, analyze it against rule sets that Red Hat curates to identify issues that you may have with your RHEL boxes. So those could be optimization type issues. Those could be security issues. If anybody saw the keynote yesterday, we talked a little bit about Insights. That's a preview of what's coming with Insights. So in general, think configuration assessment as a service. You send anonymized data. We compare that with rules. We combine it with all the other customers that we have, and we can tell you, hey, there's something wrong. There's something you want to address with your system before it becomes an issue for you. With that, you also get the ability to remediate those issues and to optimize things that might need a little care and attention. So that's what we're going to talk about today. These are three separate products, right? So we have Red Hat Ansible, there's a Red Hat Ansible Tower, there's Red Hat Ansible. This is a separate product, and we're going to show you how we integrate Ansible with these other two products. Red Hat Satellite, obviously its own release train, and then Red Hat Insights is a continuous delivery, right? It's a software as a service. We're always making updates to it. That is something that's been released for a few years now, and it's going to also integrate with the other products that you see up here. So a little bit of backstory. Back in the 6.1 Satellite days, the 5.7 Satellite days, we had our first integration between Satellite and Insights. So that's the ability to, from within Satellite, use the Insights service to identify issues with your RHEL boxes and to take recommendations and fix those. That's a little bit of a manual process, that second step, this early on in the time frame. The other piece, sort of the top of the chain here, is Satellite 6.3. So that's when there was a little bit of this integration in Satellite 6.2, but really it kind of matured in the 6.3 time frame, is the ability to use Tower and Satellite together end-to-end out-of-the-box integration there. So if you want to use Ansible, if you want to use Satellite as dynamic inventory for your Ansible Tower installation, that's part of 6.3. Things like post-provisioning callback. So you spin up a box as part of provisioning with your Satellite. You want it to go call out to Ansible Tower and do some things to get it up to your SOE. That's part of 6.3. I'll put in a plug for 6.3 here because so many of you are not on 6.3 yet. 1,700 bug fixes, hundreds of RFEs. We've had over 800 customers upgrade from 6.2 to 6.3. Is it over 1,000 now?
1,000.
Over 1,000 customers now have upgraded. It's going better than we'd hoped. We realized that upgrades in the past have been hard. This is not going to be a hard upgrade. So let's talk afterwards about how to get y'all on 6.3. What you're going to see today is a preview of some technologies in the satellite space, in the Insight space, and on Ansible, where we're now going to embed the Ansible engine inside of Satellite 6.4. So in addition to having the remote execution provider that we have today inside of Satellite 6.3, we're also going to have Ansible as a remote execution provider inside of 6.4, so you can run playbooks right from within the satellite interface. This is not a replacement for Ansible Tower. Ansible Tower is an orchestration provider for your automation. It's going to have a lot more full-featured functionality for those complex use cases requiring automation. But if you literally just have playbooks that you want to run against your satellite inventory, this is going to allow you to do that right out of the box. We also, what you're going to see John demonstrate here in a minute, is the idea that Insights can provide a playbook that it customizes for you based on what it knows about your system. Inside Satellite, you get access to that playbook. You find an issue with Insights, you click it, you fix it, all from within Satellite. It's a really, really cool integration. That's what John's going to demo here. This is my last slide before I turn the floor over to John here. The main theme that you should be taking away here, and part of the keynote yesterday was this idea of intelligent automation. So Red Hat is going to provide analytics based on data that we get from our customer base and allow you to automate based on that analysis. What you saw yesterday was we could automate that, those type of actions from the cloud based on what Insights was telling us. Today, what you're going to see is how we can automate on-premise based on what Insights is telling us. So regardless of whether you're managing your environment from the cloud with something like our future offerings around platform management as a service, or whether you're managing your environment today with satellite, you're going to be able to use the insights that Insights provides, that's weird, and automate those actions and automate those optimizations. So I think that's enough filler up front. John, I'll let you take it, and then I'll be back at the end.
Yeah, it's Wednesday morning. Our goal was not to PowerPoint you to death. I think there's less than 20 slides in this whole deck. So I am about to show you what is indeed a live demo of pre-production code on conference Wi-Fi. So I have done my blessings to the demo god, say a little prayer. Let's see how this goes. What you're going to see today is using Red Hat management, you are going to discover an issue that exists in your environment. We're then going to create a plan to resolve that issue, and then we'll resolve the issue. I do always like to talk in my demos about the topology of the environments you're about to see. Because we are doing this all over the internet, it's a simple environment. It uses our example.com that you would see in our lab, L1023, hands-on with Satellite 6. I believe it's full. I don't know if there's a waiting list, but I believe it's offered twice today. So this is the exact same environment that you would use in that lab. Satellite server connects to Insights. We then have a capsule that connects to Satellite, and we have two hosts that connect to the capsule. So only two hosts we're dealing with, but the workflow is exactly the same regardless if it's 2 or 200 or 20,000. All right, so let's do this. Here is my satellite environment. I'm already logged in. And right here on the dashboard, you should see the risk summary widgets and the insights action widgets. Those widgets were introduced in Satellite 6.3. I just simply went into Manage and clicked on the widget to add it into this environment. So if you're using 6.3 today, these widgets are already available for you. I did put the little circle around the mouse cursor. Since it's a live demo, I wanted to make it easy for you to follow where the mouse is. So as I move it around, especially when I get on that black background, it might help you just to see the mouse. So as an admin, the first thing I'm going to see is I have two systems with critical issues. I want to know what those are as soon as possible. I'm going to click right on those issues. That's going to redirect me into the actions view of Insights, and I can see I have 2 critical actions. They're listed as critical. The likelihood is high that I'm going to hit this issue. The impact of the issue is high, so therefore the total risk is high. 2 systems, both of the ones in this environment, are impacted by both of these risks. And all the way over to the right, you'll see the Ansible logo lit up in blue. That means that Insights already has an Ansible playbook to remediate this issue. I'm going to start with this OpenSSH vulnerability. So I click right on that. It's going to give me a little bit of information. Things like, what is this vulnerability about? How is it resolved? And very important, what is the risk of making a change? In this case, it's very low. The SSHD config file either needs to be updated or the package itself is updated and the service is restarted. So those are very easy changes to make, very low risk. If you're in a shop where you have to do change management, there's most of the information you need right there to put in your change management request. This does indeed impact 2 systems, so I'm going to select all, then click the Actions button, and select Create a New Plan or Playbook. That moves me right into the Insights Planner. I can name this and hit Save. In this case, that Ansible playbook has 2 different possible resolutions to remediate. I can either update the server and restart the service, or I can just update the parameters. So I can choose this. I can also change my choice later. I'll take the defaults and click Save. Here's my plan. You can click on the Systems tab. Here's all the systems. And here's the playbook itself, including a system reboot summary. Does not require a reboot in this case. So at this point, notice I have the Run Playbook button. I can go ahead and run this. But if you remember, I did have 2 critical issues. So I'm going to add another action. I'm just going to edit this existing plan. I'm going to add it critical vuln. All systems that are impacted will automatically be added. And I'm going to click that second critical issue, which was about the DNS mask. I can click on it and see all the information just like I did before. I'm just going to click the Save button. My plan is updated now, and I have 2 actions that I can complete. And now I'm going to run the playbook. To recap, I logged into my satellite environment. I saw that I had 2 critical risks. I clicked through, got information about those risks, created a plan to remediate them, and now I'm in the process of fixing them. If you are using Satellite 6.2 or older, none of what I've showed you is possible in that version. In Satellite 6.3, you can do everything that I just did all the way up to the point where I clicked Run Playbook. If you're using 6.3, it'll say Download Playbook. You can download the YAML file, and you can go ahead and execute that manually by taking it to another host. But here we're taking it on to the next step. With 6.4, we do have that Ansible built in for the purpose of remote execution. And I can go ahead and click Run Playbook. I had a question in the front, please. There was. I just didn't go back and click the summary button. So if it was the same plan as before, I could just go back and click that summary tab and absolutely click on that. And then I had one more question in the back. The question was, can I run the playbook later? Absolutely, you can. I chose to do it at that point, but later on, you can manually go in and click that Run Playbook button. If you want to go and schedule that to run at a different time, that's where you're looking more at like something like Ansible Tower to run that issue for you. So this is more to go in and remediate that on demand. And let me take yours first. For the risk of change, the question is it based upon the analytics from Insights, or is it just Red Hat saying? So I think what I understand is based on our experience with our customers and what our support team has found out, they set that risk appropriately. Rob's nodding his head correctly. I've got one of my Insights team in here that's saying, yes, you didn't say something dumb. So that's excellent. Thank you. Does it transfer over SSH, or do you have to, does it already use something that Satellite already has enabled? All right, so response was, in this case, that that Ansible engine is on that capsule, and we are indeed using the existing open SSH keys that we have in the environment. Yeah. Our engineering team helped set this up for us. As I mentioned, this is pre-production code, so it took a little bit of time to get this all up and running, but this is real, and this is working very well. So in this case, we have a success. I can scroll down the page here, and I can look at these Ansible playbook. I can see all the information about it here as it was running. I can actually go into the host tab, and I can click on one of these individual hosts. They both say success, and then here's information about that actual execution job. Now, if I return to my monitor, I'm going to go back to my dashboard. What we should see is on our risk summary, 0 critical issues. I'm happy, my boss is happy. We do have a few other low issues we can take care of. One of them is a security issue. I'll go ahead and click right on that security tab in the actions button. So we have 2 remaining risks. The first one, I wanted to point this one out because here's an example of one that does not have an Insights playbook. In this case, that Ansible logo, it's gray, it's not lit up in blue, so there's no automatically created playbook from Insights for you to remediate this risk. You could write one yourself, but I'm going to focus on this second one that does have the Ansible playbook. We're going to go right through that flow again. My risk again, in this case, is high, so when I file that change ticket, maybe this is one I don't want to run immediately, but luckily, since we're in the middle of Summit, this happens to be a maintenance window. So I can go ahead and click the Actions button, create a new plan or playbook. This is my security vulnerability. Click Save. Again, our actions. There's the systems involved. Here's my playbook. Does not require a system reboot. And I can go ahead and run. I can also customize the playbook run. So that first example that I had where I had the option to choose the remediation, notice I didn't get that this time. This particular playbook doesn't have an option. There's only one way for remediation. But if it did have it, I could customize that playbook run. I could change my option. I could also download it. That's just going to download the YAML file. So if I did want to run this at a later point in time using my Ansible Tower, I can just download that YAML file right here. But I'll go ahead and click Run Playbook again, and we can kick that off, and we'll be done in just a few seconds. The question is there a Puppet dependency for installing? For discovering hosts. So essentially what we did in 6.3, there's been no real change. So 6.3, we actually started support for Puppet 4. So we support both 3.8 and Puppet 4 within Satellite 6.3. We've not removed any requirements for Puppet, but we are now, in addition, going to be supporting in 6.4 Ansible as an execution engine.
And no, there is no dependency for Puppet for discovery for this.
So we've taken Satellite, all from within the Satellite UI. We've used Satellite to identify, to highlight risks that are identified by Insights. We then created a plan to remediate those risks using an Ansible playbook, and we executed the playbook and resolved the issues all within the Satellite UI. So with that, any other questions about the demo before I turn it back over to Brent? Are there any APIs that will connect to change management systems? So you would like ServiceNow to be able to go ahead and create the plan and everything for you to work on this remediation process?
I think I know where you're going. So everything that John is showing is based off the fact that in 6.4, Ansible is going to be another option for remote execution. Okay, so instead of doing the normal SSH-based remote execution you can do with 6.3, we're now adding Ansible as a language you can use for remote execution. So you could take the playbook that John was showing there, you could download it, and you could add in whatever modules you're using to connect to ServiceNow or whatever else to do some additional work around it and add your own custom steps to the remediation if you wanted to. But of course, what Insights is going to give you is just a generic fix with all the modules that are going to be available in the standard Ansible distribution. You can add your own custom modules there and add your own custom workflows and enhance it to fix it in a way that's more consistent with your workflow if you want to. So I don't know if that answered the question.
So right now, this functionality is really just about running the playbook that you get from Insights. So if you want to go past that and integrate it with more workflow around automation, that's where you're going to need to, potentially look at Tower, look at the other, tying that in with the rest of your Ansible workflow.
Step 1, get Red Hat stuff working together. At this point, I don't believe we have direct integration with Tower because this is using an Ansible remote execution engine that, in this case, is located on the capsule or on the satellite server. So right now, it's not an integration with Tower. Correct? I'm getting a nod. I said something good. Yes? All right, and I've got one more here. So the first question is, do you only have insights registered on those couple hundred you care about, or do you have them registered on everything that you own? Okay. So from there, the question is, can we then identify a subset of the Ansible, of the Insights hosts, so that they're the ones that you get a focus on? And
yes.
I'm going to...
No. So again, we're leveraging remote execution. And if you've used remote execution yet, there's a search criteria. And then once you have the hosts that have been searched, you then say, apply this code to it. In 6.3, that's bash scripts that you're running. So in 6.4, you can start to use Ansible. So you could take the playbook that Insights has generated for a single host. You could take that playbook, put it into the remote execution framework, create your own custom search criteria based on whatever you'd like to search based off of, and then say, please execute this playbook using this search criteria. At this point, I don't believe that we're taking that fact information and sending it up and giving you a consistent filtering view across the two. But that's a really good feature enhancement. That
so you're basically
writing down as soon as we're done.
Yeah. So you're basically wanting to, on the dashboard summary, that's where you want to be able to categorize the hosts by their importance to you. And that's, as Brian said, that's a great feature request. That is definitely not something that's in there today. Let's take, you want to keep going? All right. Let's do a couple more questions here. I'll start right in the front. When should we accept the product to be released so you can use it? Can we hold that question till, because Brent's going to cover that. Yeah, Brent's going to cover that in a moment, so I'm going to ask you to hang on. We're going to send you back to slides because you haven't had enough yet. And
Let's do just a couple of slides on sort of futures here, and then we can take more questions. We got another 15 minutes, I think. The one piece that I didn't mention up front that I wanted to mention, there is a new smart management packaging model that was effective March 1st. Anybody in the room aware of that? A couple here. So Insights is now included with your smart management subscription as long as you have renewed, re-upped, true-upped after that March 1st date. So next time you have an action regarding your smart management subscription, you'll get updated and you will have access to Insights as part of your smart management subscription. I saw a lot of hands say, yes, we use satellite, so that means there's a lot of folks here that now can use Insights.
The flip side of that we also need to mention is, in addition with enabling Insights, we've also enabled what we're calling unlimited infrastructure for satellite, meaning, again, after March 1st, once you renew, you'll be able to deploy additional capsules, additional satellites at no additional charge. So that's going to be included as part of smart management. There's no more going out, buying another purchase order for another capsule or satellite. That's all included within smart management now. So trying to make it smarter for you.
Right. So if you have questions on that, hit your account team. Quick question in the back.
Question is, was just satellite and Insights within
Vanilla smart management, yes, is satellite and Insights, yep. Okay, so this is my product management cover my butt slide. You know what it says. Everything I say here, I can take it back for no reason. So 6.3. Took us 18 months to get 6.3 out, and that is a good thing. 6.3 is a solid release. Like I think I said at the beginning, we have 1,700, 1,600, something along those lines, bug fixes in 6.3, tons of RFEs. It was worth the time to take that long to make 6.3 as solid and as stable as it is. The upgrades have gone well. The customers that have upgraded have given us a lot of great feedback on it. It's going really well. That said, moving forward, we're going to start to knock these releases out on a regular cadence. We're going to do this on a 6-month cadence. 6.4 is on track for a fall release this year. It's going to be the first release that we've done on satellite in a 6-month time window from a .y perspective, a minor release. We're going to start to deliver these .y releases at a 6-month cadence because I need these releases to be supportable. I need you folks to be confident that you can upgrade, and so what we're doing is we're going to put less stuff in them, but we're going to put them out at a regular basis so that you know what's coming. You're going to be able to upgrade it with confidence. The Z-Stream releases are going to come out on a monthly, bi-monthly cadence, somewhere in that time frame. They're going to have a lot fewer fixes so that you're going to actually be able to read a release note over lunch and understand what's in a Z-Stream and be able to apply that confidently. So this is all good news here. 6.4 is coming out, as I said, in the fall. We are actually running betas this summer, so don't raise your hand and tell me now. Come find me later. If you're interested in participating in one of the betas, drop me a card, drop me a contact info, and we'll get you set up with the folks that are going to be running the beta. So 6.4, major themes for 6.4 are continuing that Ansible journey that I talked about at the beginning, moving from our integration with Ansible Tower to embedding the bits. That's what John just showed you. So I don't have to go over those first couple of bullets there. That's around the Ansible integration. Our support for Puppet 5 is coming in 6.4. If there's any public sector folks out here, we're going to support provisioning to GovCloud. And there's a bunch of work around UI type stuff. So we're going to give you enhanced auditing. We have some edits to how you manage your manifest. You're going to be able to actually edit your manifest from within Satellite without having to go back to the portal. You'll still have to create that manifest in the portal, but you'll have the ability to do some edits there inside of Satellite itself. 6.5.
Yeah, I didn't point it out during the demo, but hopefully all you Satellite customers have noticed the UI changed quite a bit. That navigation bar is now on the left side as opposed to the top. So that's one of these UX changes. We're moving to the vertical nav.
Yep.
So that's I forgot to mention it because now I've been using this thing for so long.
6.4 on the left side of the screen, pretty solid. Even though I covered my butt, I'm feeling really good about that. 6.5 stuff on the right, way more fuzzy. But in general, the direction that we're going is around continued integrations, performance, and usability. So integrations across the portfolio. Things like integrations with Composer. If you want to talk to the RHEL teams, I'm not a Composer expert, but there's going to be some integrations there. We're moving towards FIPS enablement for the folks that are concerned around FIPS on the public sector side, in the US specifically. Improved reporting. We've heard loud and clear that there are gaps on the reporting side when SAT 6 is compared to SAT 5. That's going to be coming in SAT 6.5 here. So we're going to make some improvements there. Again, lot less certainty and a lot less definition there. We're coming up at the end of our planning cycle for 6.5. So if you talk to me in another 2 months, I'll have a lot more detail for you.
And we don't have a slide on it, but we'd be remiss if we didn't mention it. For those of you that are still using Satellite 5, by January 1st, January 31st, get to Satellite 5.8 at least. RHN is going to completely shut down. You will no longer be able to get new content after that date. So not only will your satellite be end of life, you won't be able to get any additional content if you're using 5.7 or older. That's just because of that RHN network shutting down. So please, if you're still on 5, get to 5.8 ASAP and start thinking about your transfer over to Satellite 6.
Yes, what he said. That's all I got, I think, for slides, right?
That's it? Yeah,
more
come
questions.
visit us at the
We have
booth.
another 9 minutes or so
Yeah.
if you all want to stick around and ask more questions.
All right, we got one in the back. I'm going to walk around with the mic just so we don't have to repeat quite as much. Get more steps in. Yeah. 5K obstacle course this morning wasn't enough for me. Oops, hang on. Is that? I think you switched it off on me. My apologies. All right, there we go.
Does Insights work on CentOS?
No, we're supporting RHEL.
I understand you support it, but it is like, are you able to leverage the database against non-RHEL systems?
No, we send the agent comes out with RHEL. So that's where, I mean, I don't know the answer as to whether or not anybody's even tried it. We can have that conversation offline, but it's the agent goes out with RHEL, it's supported on RHEL.
All right, thanks.
Yep.
Yeah. For those of you who are leaving, thank you so much for coming. Please don't forget to fill out your surveys. Brent and I are fairly new as speakers, and we would definitely appreciate your feedback. Well, we're new to Summit as speakers, so
Any other
definitely
questions
appreciate your feedback.
before
More
you all
questions?
jet? All right, thanks, folks.
Oops. Yeah.